So let us start. Page 172, a remedy yet there should be and is. So what's he talking about? It's a long time since we did that. So if you remember, he has said that the vital is extremely difficult to change. Very difficult. In fact, it is so difficult that the others, Jnana Yogins and the Bhakti Yogins, they all reject the physical world. They say, we don't want to have anything to do with it. They reject it because their whole contention is, like Vivekananda said, that it's like a dog's tail. You straighten it as much as you want, leave it, and it will go back to its crooked curl. So, vital is impossible to deal with, so we'll get rid of it. But Sridhar is saying, no, we don't want to leave the physical world, therefore, we have necessarily to purify our vital. How to do that? That's what he's saying. And he's telling you that I am not being a superficial and shallow optimist. I am not saying it is very easy to do this. I know very well what the difficulties of the vital are. In fact, he has put 2 pages he has written. If you remember, in great detail, he has said that I know it is difficult. These are the difficulties. Okay, but still, I say that we have to change the vital. We have to purify the vital. So that's what he's now going to say. What is a remedy? Okay. So one of you has to read the paragraph and then we'll discuss it. Usually Tuesday is Pallavi's day, and if Pallavi has got the text, you can read.
Yes, Rangada.
A remedy yet.
A remedy yet there should be and is, a way of redress and a chance of transformation for this troubled vital nature. But for that, the cause of deviation must be found and remedied at the heart of life itself and in its very principle, since life too is a power of divine and not a creation of some malignant chance or dark titanic impulse, however obscure or perverted may be its actual appearance. In life itself, there is the seed of its own salvation. It is from the life energy that we must get our leverage. For though there is a saving light in knowledge, a redeeming and transforming force in love, these cannot be effective here unless they secure the consent of life and can use the instrumentation of some delivered energy at its center for a sublimation of the erring human into a divine life force. It is not possible to cut the difficulty by a splitting up of the works of sacrifice. We cannot escape it by deciding that we shall do only the works of love and knowledge and leave aside the works of will and power, possession and acquisition, production and fruitful expense of capacity, battle and victory and mastery, striking away from us the larger part of life because it seems to be made of the very stuff of desire and ego, and therefore doomed to be a field of disharmony and mere conflict and disorder. For the division cannot really be made, or if attempted, it must fail in its essential purpose, since it would isolate us from the total energies of the world power and sterilize an important part of integral nature, just the one force in it that is a necessary instrument in any world creative purpose. The life force is an indispensable intermediary, the effectuating element in nature here. Mind needs its alliance if the works of mind are not to remain shining inner formations without a body. The spirit needs it to give an outer force and form to its manifested possibilities and arrive at a complete self expression incarnated in matter. If life refuses the aid of its intermediary energy to the spirit's other workings, or is itself refused, they are likely to be reduced for all the effect they can have here to a static seclusion or a golden impotence. Or if anything is done, it will be a partial irradiation of our action, more subjective than objective, modifying existence perhaps, but without force to change it. Yet, if life brings its forces to the spirit but unregenerate, a worse result may follow, since it is likely to reduce the spiritual action of love or knowledge to diminished and corrupted motions, or make them accomplices of its own inferior or perverse workings. Life is indispensable to the completeness of the creative spiritual realization, but life released, transformed, uplifted, not the ordinary mentalized human animal life, nor the demoniac or titanic, nor even the divine and the undivine mixed together. Whatever may be done by other world shunning or heaven seeking disciplines, this is the difficult but unavoidable task of the integral yoga. It cannot afford to leave unsolved the problem of the outward works of life. It must find in them their native divinity and ally it firmly forever to the divinities of love and knowledge.
Quite a big para and very interesting what he's saying. He's explaining about the indispensability of the vital, but not in all yogas, only in Siddhanta's yoga, because you are not going to give up the physical world. You want to transform even your mind, life, and body. So that is why life, the vital, is absolutely essential. So it's a very interesting para, and we will see. And there are many. This was known also to our Indian ancient Indians. We will refer to that as we go along. Okay, so he has told you very clearly that it's very, very difficult to change the vital. That is the reason why ascetics reject it and go away. They're not interested in doing anything so difficult. They want a shortcut. So they, the soul goes into the higher planes of consciousness and they neglect the lower. They don't care for it. Now, I'm reading each sentence and we'll have a look. A remedy, yet there should be, and is, because the divine has created the vital and matter. So therefore, there has to be a remedy, and Sriyamdra is confirming to you and assuring you that there is a remedy. And what is that remedy? A way of redress and a chance of transformation for this troubled vital nature. The troubled vital nature can become a very calm and powerful nature, pure force it can become. How? He will tell you. But for that, the cause of deviation must be found and remedied at the heart of life itself and it is very principle, since life too is a power of the divine and not a creation of some malignant chance or dark titanic impulse, however obscure or perverted may be its actual appearance. Why is he saying chance and dark titanic impulse? Because there are many philosophies and religions who say that everything, the physical world with all its impurities, is created not by God, but by a demoniac power. So that's why there is heaven and hell, and there is the dark forces, the anti-divine forces. So Sriyamdra does not subscribe to that theory at all. Okay. So he's saying, and there is also another implication which is there, he has brought out very clearly in Life Divine. Matter is nothing but a diminished and distorted form of divine existence. Sat. The divine substance is absolutely pure and subtle. That when it descends, becomes matter. It becomes gross substance. The subtlest substance becomes gross substance. What about the mind? The mind is also a very diminished form of the supermind. The supermind is divine knowledge. And the mind is its shadow. It is a representation, like something and its photograph. Okay? The photograph is not you, but it represents you. So in the same way, the supermind, when it descends, it becomes normal mind for man. What about the vital? The vital is Chit Shakti. Chit Shakti, consciousness force, divine consciousness and divine force, when it descends, it becomes the vital force. Okay? So, this is what he's saying. So, if it is created by the divine and it is also, however diminished and however impure it may look to you, there is the divine in it, and we have to use that as a lever and transform the vital. That's what he said. Okay? So, in life itself, there is a seed of its own salvation. We can find this problem to lie in life itself. Very often they tell you that if you state the problem clearly, then the solution itself comes. Because very often the problem is because you are confused and you don't know what to do. So if you can state the problem clearly, the solution itself will be very clear. So something like that he is saying here also. In life itself, there is a seed of its own salvation. It is from the life energy, L cap, E cap. He is talking of the pure Shakti, divine Shakti, that we must get our leverage. Okay. For though there is a saving light in knowledge, a redeeming and transforming force in love, these cannot be effective here unless they secure the consent of life and can use the instrumentation of some delivered energy at its center for a sublimation of the erring human into a divine life force. Okay, so he's saying, however wonderful your knowledge in the mind, you will not be able to transform the life vital unless you deal with the life itself and purify it to a certain extent. That's what he said. Now, this is a very interesting thing, and this is exactly what is very clearly stated in the Ramayana. Okay, Sita is nature, and Ram is Purusha, Prakriti and Purusha. And Purusha, human beings have forgotten that they are the divine Purusha, and they are following their Prakriti or body mind life. So now, what does yoga consist in? Yoga consists in reclaiming your soul and changing your Prakriti. Okay, so this is the image in the Ramayana that Rama is Purusha, but his Prakriti has been taken away by anti-divine forces forcibly. All our mind, life, and body, most of our actions are not pure. They have become subjected to anti-divine forces. So now you have to purify it. Ram has to get Sita back. In other words, he has to get back, he has to possess his body, mind, life and claim mastery over it. Okay, he has to get Sita back. How does he do that? He has to use the vital itself. And what is the vital? The monkeys are the animals in the physical world. And by known you, it is not only animals. There are also bears. The whole Vanar army, okay, there are bears also. Jambavan is a bear. So the animal world, the animal part of you have to use. That's what the symbol is, very clear. If you don't use that, it will be very difficult to reclaim Sita again. In other words, become master of your own body, mind, life. Okay, this is a symbol, very, very clear symbol. So they're saying the same thing here in intellectual terms. In life itself, there is a seed of one's own salvation, and knowledge and love are not enough to purify it. So you have to tackle their life itself in its own field. It is not possible. I'm reading further. Okay? It is not possible to cut the difficulty by splitting up of the works of sacrifice. We can't say that I will do first Jnana Yoga, then I will do Bhakti Yoga, then I'll have enough power and knowledge, and I will tackle with the Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga, because it's not rejecting the physical world, remember? So they're saying we cannot escape it by deciding that we shall do only the works of love and knowledge. Okay? Only that. And leave aside the works of will and power, possession and acquisition, production and fruitful expense of capacity, battle and victory and mastery, striking away from us the larger part of life because it seems to be made of the very stuff of desire and ego, and therefore doomed to be a field of disharmony and mere conflict and disorder. Now, he's saying, now note the words very interesting. He's saying, leave it. Only I will do bhakti, and whatever work I have to do in connection with bhakti, I will do. Whatever I have to do for knowledge, I will do. I will sit, and if I have to read sacred texts, I will read. But that's the only thing I will do for knowledge, Jnana Yoga. And if I want to do Bhakti Yoga, okay, I have to worship the image, so I'll get flowers, I will do worshipping. That much I will do, but not no other work. But Shendra is saying, no, you have to do. And what are the works you have to do? He is listing. Very interesting. Just know. Will and power. Okay? So it corresponds to a caste system, which has got a great truth. So which is the will and power, you will tell me? Possession and acquisition. Then production and fruitful expense of capacity, battle and victory and mastery, striking away from us the larger part of life because it seems to be made of the very stuff of desire and ego. So, works of will and power. Okay? These are the works. Will and power belongs to the Kshatriya. Possession and acquisition to the Vaishya. Okay? Production and fruitful expense of capacity. That is, production normally used also to the Vaishya, but sometimes also the Shudra. Then finally, battle and victory and mastery, again the Kshatriya. So all these things we have to do in the physical world, you can't escape from it. And do only knowledge and love, I will do, that's not possible. It's possible for other yogas, but not for integral yoga, because you are going to become master of the physical world. So you have to tackle the vital. For the division cannot really be made, or if attempted, it must fail in its essential purpose, since it would isolate us from the total energies of the world power. If you are not doing Srivamdasa Yoga, fine, no problem. You get knowledge, you get love, and you are satisfied. But if you are doing Srivamdasa Yoga, your actions in the physical world, Karma Yoga, also must be divinely transformed. So if you don't do that, it will fail. That's what he said. Because the world power, the universe, is Prakriti, the lower Prakriti, but it is Prakriti, nature and force, and the total energy world power, and sterilize an important part of integral nature. Sterilize means to make ineffective. When there is something, you sterilize a room means you don't allow the microbes to come in, or you sterilize vessels. So that is removing the negative parts. But here it is, you are removing the world power itself if you don't take care of if you don't transform the vital. So how will it be necessary? You can't do that. The word sterilize is very good for medicine. But if you are sterilizing in yoga, they isolating yourself from, not from microbes, but from the vital, okay, the power, then you are harming yourself. It's interesting image. Just one force in it that is necessary, that is a necessary instrument for any world creative purpose. Now, world creative purpose is 3 words which describe Srivamdasa Yoga. The others are not interested in world creative purpose. They are not interested at all in world creative purpose. They just want individual salvation through love or through knowledge, jnana or bhakti. But Srivamdasa wants you to continue work in the physical world. The life force is an indispensable intermediary, an effectuating element in nature here. You have to use life force. You have to use the force. But you can't. The vital is force and Shakti, but which has become degraded and it has become impure. So you have to purify it. You have to purify the mind. How do you do that? You can do that psychologically. You can do that by all sorts of devices. In fact, that is the reason why asanas and pranayama, these are the ways to purify your vital. Okay, they do all sorts of things. But Srivamdana Yoga is psychological. And what is the main way of psychology? Offer yourself to the divine and like the Gita. Okay. And ask the mother to do the work in you sincerely. Ask the mother to do the work in you. She will do it. The life force is an indispensable intermediary, the effectuating element, that which makes success. Otherwise, it is not a success. This effectuating element in nature here. Mind needs its alliance. Mind needs its alliance if the works of mind are not to remain shining inner formations without a body. You have tremendous amount of knowledge, but it is ineffective in the physical world. You are not able to do it. The spirit needs it. Spiritual life needs the vital. So to give it an outer force and form to its manifested possibilities and arrive at a complete. Sorry, I have lost the page. 1 second. Computer has jumped many pages. Yeah, now I've got it. So, the same. Yeah, the spirit needs it to give an outer force and form to its manifested possibility and arrive at a complete self-expression incarnated in matter. The divine must give knowledge to the mind. It must give, just 1 second. It must give love to the heart, and it must give force to the vital, and it must make even the body free of disease and death. That's Rembo's idea. Okay, so when he's saying, very good. Yeah. Arrive at a complete self-expression incarnated in matter. 4 words. Complete self-expression incarnated in matter. Self-expression. The divine is expressing himself in matter. And his expression cannot be imperfect. Okay, so you have to make it, and it has to be complete. Man now is undoubtedly a self-expression of the divine, but not complete. He is an incomplete self-expression of the divine right now. But a yogi, when he purifies himself, he can become a complete self-expression of the divine incarnated in matter with a body. Okay? If life refuses the aid of its intermediary energy to the spirit's other workings, or is itself refused, they are likely to be reduced for all the effect they can have here to a static seclusion or a golden impotence. So if you have got knowledge, certainly it is very good, but it's a static seclusion. You have secluded yourself. You have gone into the mind and you are now satisfied with that. You have separated yourself and it is static. Because remember, up there is no movement. So when there is no movement in the self, it is static. In other words, you can't act in the physical world. And that is a golden impotence. Impotence, powerlessness to work in the physical world. But it is golden because you have a tremendous amount of knowledge of the divine. Okay, So it becomes a golden impotence. So
But Rangada,
yeah, tell me.
why would life refuse the aid of its intermediary?
Yeah, if life
Why would?
refuses the aid of
Why
this,
would it?
why would it? Look, Alavi, our vital is satisfying itself with desires, na? If you
Yes.
tell the vital, okay, don't do this, don't do that enjoyment, remove, will it listen to you? The vital is always revolting, huh? Always wants satisfaction, always wants joy and pleasure. That is the impurity, because there is desire. Desire is the impurity. But if you can enjoy without desire, without attachment, and without ego, then it's okay. Enjoyment is okay. But when you are enjoying something with attachment, ego, and desire, then it is impure. Why? Because it will never allow you to go to a higher level. Ego is there, attachment is there. You don't want to break the attachment. Okay? So that is what is meant by life refuses. 90% of human beings, life refuses the aid of this pure energy. Life, the vital, says, no, I don't want to change. I told you, na, there was an Italian lady who had come and we were discussing. She had an experience of a golden light entering into her. But her vital was saying, no, I don't want it. If you read Savitri, you will see how man refuses to change. He is in love with his own ignorance. That's the nature. That's what Shakti is saying. Life refuses. If life refuses, and 90% of the time it is refusing. So then you can't.
Life here means vital being.
Yes.
Our vital being.
Yes. You have to take it like that. Okay, so that's what he's saying. Golden importance. Okay. Yeah. Or if anything is done, okay, if the knowledge and love can have some effect, or if anything is done, it will be a partial irradiation of our action, more subjective than objective. Objective means in the physical world, physically, and subjective means inside your mind. Okay, it is will be quite pure, modifying existence perhaps, but without force to change it. So unless the vital is pure, you may be able to modify some of your habits and your nature, but you will not be able to completely change the vital. Yet, if life brings its forces to the spirit, but unregenerate, okay, the vital will say, yes, I want to change, but I don't want to change my habits. I don't want to get rid of my desire and my attachments. Then what will happen? So they say, life, yet if life brings its forces to the spirit, but unregenerate means impure, generate, regenerate, and unregenerate, not purified. When you generate something, there is a mixture. When you regenerate it, you are purifying it. But unregenerate, you are not purifying. So if the vital says, yes, I want to do yoga, but I don't want to change my pleasure and attachments, and I don't want to change, then what will happen? A worse result may follow, since it is likely to reduce the spiritual action of love or knowledge to diminish and corrupted motions and make them accomplices of its own inferior and perverse workings. Now, we'll just clarify what he's saying here. He's saying if the vital participates in yoga, but without changing, what will happen? He's saying it will be corrupted motions and it can lead to disasters. So what is the corrupted motion of the mind? If the corrupted motion of the mind will be egoism, a tremendous amount of pride in your knowledge, okay? Then what about the heart, the love? If love comes, pure love also, but the vital is untransformed, it will become lust. It will go into wrong channels and you will This is not uncommon at all. Okay, there are many things when they say that it goes to a very corrupt and sexual behavior. It becomes so. That's what I'm saying. Perverse workings, corrupt emotions, and perverse workings. So you must purify the vital, and then the vital can participate in your yoga. Otherwise, you will be in trouble. Okay, that's exactly what you're saying. I can give you any examples, but I won't go into that. Yet, if like that we read, okay, life is indispensable to the completeness of the creative spiritual realization. Know that life is indispensable. That is what the Ramayana also says. Your mind, your animal nature, the monkeys, the animal nature has to participate in the liberation of your prakriti. That is essential. The images are always, the images, you can always find some fault with the images, but this is what it meant. You have to use the vital. Whatever may be done by other world shunning or heaven seeking disciplines. Who are the ones who are world shunning? Jnana yogis are the world shunning. And who are the heaven seeking? Those who love. They want to go to Vaikuntha. They want to go to the heaven where there is only pleasure. This is usually the aim of the Vaishnavisms. The Vaishnavites want only love for the divine and they want to go into heaven where this love is eternal. So Sendra is saying, world shunning, not all, but some of the Jnana yogis, they shun the world. Or heaven seeking, those who go with love to the divine, but they want to enjoy heaven seeking disciplines. This is the difficult but unavoidable task of the integral yoga. So he is telling you finally that this is a difficult but unavoidable task of the integral yoga. Therefore, you don't need to do integral yoga. You can do other yogas. But if you want to do this, you have to purify the mind. It cannot afford to leave unsolved the problem of the outer works of life. It must find in them their native divinity and ally it firmly forever to the divinities of love and knowledge. So love is the higher vital, knowledge is the mind, but your lower vital must be transformed so that it can ally itself firmly. It can join with the pure love and pure knowledge. Even the vital must change, the lower vital. Okay, that's what he said. We have come to 8:33. We have got 6-7 minutes. So if you feel like it, we can read the next paragraph. Let's see how big it is. It's quite big. Can we leave that for next time then?
Yeah, I'm gonna play for next time.
Yeah, it's quite big. No, we'll read it next time. It is no solution.
So, Rangada, one thing I want to ask that in integral yoga, we have to do all the threes: Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Karma Yoga.
That's right.
All the three are included.
Yes. And Karma Yoga is the one that purifies the vital because you are doing it not for yourself, but you are doing it for the divine. And when you do it for the divine by offering everything you do, love will come in. And also, you are not doing it for yourself, so ego also disappears. So if attachment and desire and ego disappear, Karma Yoga is essential also for Jnana Yoga. That is the reason why Mother was always giving work to everybody. There were so many departments and work was always given to everybody.
So more emphasis on Karma Yoga first.
Yes.
So there is more emphasis on Karma Yoga.
Yeah. A large part of integral yoga is dependent on Karma Yoga. No doubt about it.
Okay.
Okay.
Sri Aurobindo talks that the seed of the answer or the solution is there in us. So what is exactly the seed? is it refuge in Mother and Sri Aurobindo, remember and offer?
That's the best way. There's no doubt about it.
But it's very difficult, no?
Of course it is. He has told you himself it is difficult. That's why he has spent 2 pages telling you how difficult it is. And yet it must be done if you are interested in the integral yoga. He is not recommending integral yoga to everybody. Not at all. In fact, many yogis, when I was in the press, I had 2 interesting experiences. One was a yogi. He was a jnana yogi. He used to sit for meditation 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening. And he used to eat a very simple diet. And he told me his experiences also. His Kundalini was rising and he told me his experiences. That was when I was in the press. And he told me that when he went to the playground for meditation, he couldn't understand. Ye meditation kya hai? There is sound going on. Your mind must be silent. So it is not for everybody. Then another boy also, he was a very young boy and he was very, very sincere about his yoga. But when he came here, he saw in 1 week's time that that was not for him. So integral yoga is not for everybody. But if your love for Mother and Sri Aurobindo is very strong, and you can always start. But the difficulty is you must not neglect and you must not belittle. But you must take the tremendous advantage of Mother and Sri Aurobindo's help. That you have to do. Like Yasmin said, take refuge in them. But also not only take refuge in them, Yasmin, but call them down to help you. And help you in what? Not theoretically, practically. Whenever you have a practical problem, ask for help. Okay? I'm not, suppose you are a doctor, or there are 3, 4 doctors here, 3 doctors. So suppose you are not able to solve a certain problem for a patient. Ask for help. Okay? And you may be surprised how the intuition comes. So suppose you don't know what to eat or what not to eat, ask for help. Everything you can ask for help constantly, and you will be helped if it is sincere. It may not come immediately. One student told me, I am always asking for the mother for help, but I am never getting it. I said, you have to go on, not once, twice, but you have to go on 100 times, 120 times, 200 times, if necessary, 1,000 times. And then it will come. You have to go on doggedly with determination. It's not easy. You said just now it's not easy. He himself has told you it's not easy.
And Rangada, the help may not be in the way we want. We have an impression that this is the way she should help, no?
Yes.
In the way we want.
That's right. Okay. So we stop here. And Sunki, note down, it is no solution either. Page 173.
Merci beaucoup.
Okay.
Merci,
Well,
Rangada.
Yes,
Bonne
Rangada.
journée.
on.
Thank you,
Okay,
Rangada.
Rangada. Okay. Thank you.
Have a nice day.